Welcome back. This is Gore House Magazine. I am Sean Grant, and I'm with another Gore House alumni, Eli Capella. Eli, can you please let people know who you are if they don't already know?
What's good, y'all? My name is Eli Capella. I'm an MC, producer, singer, songwriter, music video director for my own videos. I don't think I'm directing other people's stuff for a little minute. And I'm proud to say that I'm from Philly.
That's what I'm talking about, bro. That's what I'm talking about. And I think I'm glad that you came back. It's been about 2 years since the last time we talked to you, since the last interview, and a lot's been going on. You know what I mean? Some new stuff I want to touch on, but a lot of new knowledge that you have to share. You know what I mean? Um, since our last conversation, you've been putting out a lot of music, right? In the past year, 2022, and I feel like at the end of 2022, you had a period where you're putting out back-to-back tracks every week for a span of like 13 weeks, which was crazy. Um, what motivated you to do that?
Yeah. I say one of the biggest motivations was consistency. I've done some amazing things, but they've all kind of been spread out. And a lot of times when you want to make an impact, it's very important that when you're doing great things that you do it within the time frame that is just very cohesive with each time frame. Feel me? So prior to the pandemic, I always had moments
Yeah.
that were like very spread out. So by the time the next moment happened, a the audience kind of forgot about the last thing, and B, I was kind of already anxious because by the time that big moment came, like for example, like a new project, it's like, dang, like I got like 2 years worth of new material that's either in brain baby form or that's existent. So it would drive me crazy. So I really wanted to be able to drop at the rate that I wanted to, because I'm a very quick creator. Like most people are afraid to like drop back to back to back because they don't want to lose inspiration.
Yeah.
They don't want to oversaturate, but I really don't believe in those things.
That's dope.
You know?
No, that's real. And I think another a benefit that's not really talked about much when you do that is that it forces you to build up skill
Yeah.
quickly. You know what I'm saying? You start to learn how to master. You start to learn how to get your songs put together, compositions put together faster.
Yeah.
So that's another added benefit that I think is really good there. So to keep it on with the music part, right? In the recent music, some of your tracks that I've been hearing have been having this really strong motivational energy to it that I feel like is rooted in your frustration and annoyance with people sleeping on you, right?
Yeah.
Not seeing how great you are,
Yeah.
right? Where's that energy coming from? Is this something that you just woke up to, or is something that's been stewing in you for a while?
It's something I always had. When I first started, I really wanted to be one of those people that believed in the potential that Philly has to be like a hub, and I was really pushing for that. And it got to a point where I had to just wake up and read the room and just be honest with myself. Philly's a really good breeding city. Like it breeds talent. If this was like in Marvel, this whole city is like the Professor X school for young gifted kids. Like that's real rap.
That's a good
But
example.
the only difference is there's no Professor X. So people got all these skills and don't realize their full potential, and they don't realize that when you collaborate, it doesn't hurt you at all. So this we live in a very opportunistic and individualized city, and of course that's deep rooted, like trauma, just different things like that. So that was one aspect, just coming to realize that, and two, understanding that when I had those moments of frustration, that I had two options. One, I could complain. I could say that this person didn't give me this shot, that person didn't give me that shot, which in the human moment of it is valid, but it's not really good in terms of longevity or any kind of progression, because you just talking about it. You just stuck there, just wallowing in it. And I would say the second option was, yo, like if people aren't looking at you the way that you would want to, then you have to put yourself in the shoes of an Eli Capella fan.
Yeah.
And if you were an Eli Capella fan, what is Eli Capella missing? I'm like, I don't see Eli Capella dropping like that. I don't know that Eli Capella knows how to produce, that he knows how to work with his own resources, that he's not limited to the industry standards. Like, you got to have a 4K camera to shoot a video. You got to pay X amount of dollars to do this, that, and the third. You have to go to the studio from an external perspective. So I said, no, let's work within the black financially. If I can't afford it, it's not important, and do whatever I need to do to be able to drop at the rate that I want to. It's way easier said than done. It was filled with a lot of anxiety. Every time I dropped, I was fearful. Every time I shot the music video, because I did everything myself for like 75% of those drops, and it was just all just like, listen, like being the best is not just about talent. Being the best is being willing to go to places that most people won't. So I would be out there when it's cold recording, like, yo, how many people do you know that's doing this by themselves? And I just always keep that in mind,
No, that I think that's a perfect example of what a really good example of why you're exceptional as an artist, right?
Thank you.
And you're right. Philadelphia is a breeding city. It has the bones for a place that can support artists financially, but it doesn't have the flesh and the tendon to make it happen, right? You know what I'm saying? And it's always been a point of frustration for myself as well, because I see the vision. I'm a visionary, so I see what can be. But like you said, sometimes we got to read the room. Sometimes we got to just wake up to the reality.
Yeah.
And that's what's up. So when you were dropping those tracks, I think something special happened there.
Thank you.
When you was doing those back-to-back releases, how did your metrics look after the fact? What was the result of that? Like, where were your numbers at after that?
Okay, so prior to dropping those tracks, I wasn't an avid TikTok user. I wasn't using social media the way that I am now. Prior to making those drops, I was never on TikTok because I'm not the kind of person who is willing to follow the trend. I'm not the kind of person that's willing to chase the algorithm. I saw that a lot of artists were doing things that some may have been valid, like some have may been in tune with their personality, or like some have been to chase the algorithm, but none of the content that I would see artists drop for like TikTok purposes or anything like that, outside of like a music video trailer or something like that, was at its core and like a part of their art form. Like they would drop like a get dressed with me video, but not use their own music. They would drop like a video that talks about them personally, but it has nothing to do with their art. So I'm a firm believer that most people take things at face value. I don't want to be on Instagram doing no funny videos because I'm gonna be the funny video boy.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to do that. So when I was doing those weekly drops gave me a reason to post on Instagram, post on TikTok, to the point that by the time I got to, I want to say the 10th video, everything you see on my page is just art. I don't have to explain to you what I do. I can just say, yo, hit the follow button and enjoy the binge, My TikTok following started to grow organically like crazy. Like, shout out to my homie Chuck Acid, but he was like, bro, like your TikTok went like is just going crazy, like from like hundreds of views to thousands of views, and I know that within that metric that may not be a lot, but I'm really big on quality. Everybody that listens, they don't just watch the video, they go and stream the song, they go and add themselves into the email list. I say my monthly listeners on DSPs was like 10 listeners, and then jumped up to like 100 on Spotify just from those drops, not being able to pay for no promo or nothing. And it's just quality people that's been listening. And two, I don't even think I said this, but I started getting paid by Instagram for my reels.
Nice.
So that in itself was just crazy, because I'm like, oh, like now my like now the things I'm posting is turning into dollars, and it's all music. It ain't no controversy, it ain't no gimmicks, it ain't none of that. So so that was just some of the things that I've been seeing. And of course, as an artist, like I can work in any circumstances now. Like if I could before, it's like multiplied times then by exponential amount, and I'm very comfortable as an artist now. Like I've never had this stride before.
Nice. Emphasis on never having that stride, man. I want to ask this question as a follow-up. It sounds like you, through these platforms, you're realizing that there's an opportunity out there just being yourself, and it doesn't have to. It's not solely on you selling your music. It's you selling things that's connected to your music and your art, right? How does that feel, man? I mean, after grinding out all these years, I mean, doing shows for free, doing all this stuff for free, realizing, yo, there's other streams of income here from my music. You know what I'm saying? How does that feel as an artist?
It feels really good because I feel like the biggest mistake that we make as an artist, like me, sometimes I struggle with that word successful because of the world's definition of it. But a lot of times I have to remind myself that success is an inward thing, it's not an outward. And what I mean by that in plain terms is I had a session with an artist 2 days ago, and this artist is doing her thing. She's big. She opened up for so many amazing people, and just her projects are doing well. And I remember her telling me like, "Yo, I'm not where I want to be. Whoop de whoop." I'm like, "Yeah, that's valid, but let me ask you a question. When you get everything you want, whether it's a deal or you're independently doing your thing as an artist and you making like millions of dollars, right? What is going to be the difference between now and then?" Like, you're still going to be working on music. You still going to wake up. You're going to go to the gym. You're going to brush your teeth. You're going to make the same songs in the studio. The only thing that changes is things that are fleeting. But the thing that's going to be here forever is the habits that you have acquired and the small forms of discipline that you put into yourself just over time. And that's what I had to really learn for myself. Like, yo, like, it's not about clout or anything like that. Because I know people with 10,000 to 100,000 followers who aren't really in a lucrative place in their life. Like, they bank accounts are still on $0 or it's in the negative, because you can have that following, but if you don't have a foundation for them to lean on, it's for naught. You know what I mean? So I'm grateful that when people do hit me up, if I charge them this amount, it's valid. Like, there's proof of like, yo, why is he charging so much? Cool. Check my gram, check my socials, but also check me in like the real world. Ask people, yo, who is Eli Capella? And I'm grateful to say that a nice amount of people in the city will be able to answer that.
You know? Right. Absolutely. That's big. So it's funny because you said a lot of things, and we had previous interviews where those responses we're hearing this, similar responses about when you wake up to of your own value, right? Yeah, I mean, and I love hearing that, because like, this art shit is not easy. You know what I mean? And it's scary. It's an emotional labor and a physical labor on top of it. So it makes me happy when I hear artists actually talk about their value. You know what I'm saying? But going back to another part of being an artist, which is the visual aspect, right? We find that music artists, as they should, they focus heavily on the sound, right? But in this current market, visuals is almost just as important, right? What have you done, or how much energy do you put in making sure that your visuals are just as quality or just as important as your music?
I put a lot of energy into the visual aspect of it, because I feel like we're in a time where we have access to those kind of materials like at like a fast rate. Like, it ain't nothing to grab an iPhone and be able to shoot content. It ain't nothing to download CapCut and to be able to edit. So I feel like with those things, it kind of leaves you with no excuse as to like why you can't be able to portray yourself in a visual sense. I think that if I'm not mistaken, the biggest way to market is to tap into people from an emotional standpoint. So I feel like a lot of times, one thing that I always hate is when I love somebody's music and they open their mouth and I'm no longer a fan.
Me too.
I'm like, bruh, like, you're not even a person at this point. Like you no different than like an AI type genre. Like, you go in the studio when you do your thing, but when I hear you speak, like, there ain't no substance to that person, so
Yeah.
it just derails me from the listening experience.
Right.
Like I love listening to a Tyler the Creator, knowing that where his moral standards are, knowing that knowing that he has a lot of gems to offer, so on and so forth. That's so important for people to be able to see you. Otherwise, the music in itself is just gonna start to dwindle. You mean, like, and you don't even have to necessarily be accessible in terms of speaking, but like just your image. Like, it's rare that you find like an MF Doom interview, but you see a lot of cover art that he invests in. You see it in his merch, like, and just all types of things. So there's multifaceted ways to visually reveal yourself to people in a way that connects with them. Like, I know that MF Doom love cartoons. I know that MF Doom love action figures. Why? Because he has them. I know MF Doom likes wallabies. Why? Because he has MF Doom wallabies. You feel me? So yeah, it's hella important.
Visuals are important, man.
Yeah, for real.
So, I get the impression that you're not big on social media. That's not your main thing. You know what I'm saying? How have you developed a system for when you come back to social media?
Yeah.
And have you been finding success with that system? Because, I be getting mad at you when you just feel you be gone for like a year. I'm like, yo, where's the music?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like I have developed a system. What I say is, that was a part of the reason why I was so proud of the drops, because it's like when you wonder around that, it's like, oh yeah, he has dropped like 10 songs in 2023, so on and so forth. And what I will say is that anytime I'm away, I want to create a habit of being able to get people to see a pattern. Like, if I'm away, is not because I'm not coming back, is because I'm going back to the drawing board, figuring things out. And sometimes life just be life, and like, you don't see me on social media because my phone broke. So I'm be on that, John. Feel me?
Hey, yeah, I mean,
Like, I feel like a lot of times, like that's where you gotta leave room for divine intervention. Feel me? Because things happen, and it's just like, you know what? Maybe it is time for me to tap into the real world, And I feel like that's one thing that artists really lose sight of as well. It's like, you the man on the phone, but it's like still the most important to be that bull on the street. If that wasn't the case, you wouldn't see physical flyers of this famous artist that's touring in the city. When I walk around, like, I still see it. Like, this person is coming to the city. People still go out of their way to wheat paste. Like, I see a scissor wheat paste downtown. I see a whiskey wheat paste. If social media was the most important, you would not be seeing those things. And those things cost thousands of dollars to do in terms of like a campaign and whatnot.
Facts.
Feel me? So when I am away, it's because I'm making time to make a foundation in the real world. And when I do come back, I'm coming back to show you what my real world experiences are. Like, for example, I've been going to different cities to perform, and I've been doing vlogs and all that. So when I come back, it's like, yo, okay, all right, now I'm not that mad no more, because Main Man is going to DC, Main Man is going to Brooklyn, so on and so forth.
Yeah, no, that's real. So it sounds like you're finding a stride in this company in recent years. Where have you been finding success monetizing your art? Right, let's start from the bottom up. Like, what would you recommend to up and coming artists or someone that's aspiring to be an artist to be the most efficient with their money to be an artist? Like, what should they skip on doing? What should they do instead? Like, what apps do you recommend them using to like start the process? Because I know for me, when I started my videography journey, I bought a dumb camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't research much, so I got not the best mic. So stuff like that. So you have all this experience of like how to save money and how to just do it efficiently. What would you recommend?
I would say it's not about the things, it's about the people that's mastering those things. So All of those songs that you heard was on a free studio software called Soundtrack and BandLab. You know, I didn't have no any of the mainstream dolls, Ableton, so on and so forth. None of that. The sounds that I was making, I got for free off Reddit. Like if you look up, like if all my producers that I love, I'm sorry, but I do be stealing y'all drums off Reddit. Feel me? But I feel like y'all can understand because it's hip hop. Like like when it comes to hip hop, we make the best of what we got and we make something out of nothing. So there's always a way to be able to work within the black. I'll say don't be afraid to take something that's not the sexiest aesthetically. Like Soundtrack isn't a sexy doll. Like, yeah, I be producing on Soundtrack. Like, you don't get that feeling where it's like, yo, he produced off FL, feel me? But FL is only FL because there was a time when people didn't bang with FL. You know, and people just said, you know what, Chocolate, I'm gonna work with the tools I got. So that's one, work with the tools you got. If you need to edit software, use CapCut. If you need to shoot a video when you can't afford to get a videographer to do it, don't spend your rent money on a music video when we have a 4K camera. If you don't got an iPhone 10 at minimum, your homie got an iPhone 10 and they'll let you use that, John. Feel me? Yeah, and always look in the spirit of longevity. Like for example, like if you didn't have that dumb camera, then you probably wouldn't have the skills that you able to use on this camera, which is a really nice camera. So it's like all of those things that we look at in the lens of perfection is just an illusion. You know, like be willing to take the tools that you're dealing with. And I'll say 3. Sorry, what was the question again? Because
how to be efficient with your money, like
how to be efficient with your money. Yeah. 3, don't try to meet the demand all the time. No, like just chalk the demand. If you know your audience, and I'll give you a cheat code. Your audience 9 times out of 10 gonna like the same things that you like. You know what I mean? So if you like Naruto, if you a Naruto head, if you an anime head, if you like Honey Nut Cheerios, whatever, just base your brain off your personality, whether it's merch, so on and so forth. And most people like things that are rare instead of things that are always accessible. So if you can only afford to get 10 tees made, then make them Jones the limited edition tees. Like just always look at everything as a way, as something to add to your lore, to the overall story. Don't ever look at something like, oh, this has to be this, that, and the third, because I saw this famous bull with X amount of dollars do it. Like that's crazy. Feel me? And I say lastly, if you can't do it right now, you'll be able to do it later. Like your brain baby don't ever have to decease. Feel me? Like for example, I'm about to upload a project on DistroKid, and for editorial playlist you have to upload a single like 3 weeks prior. I'm not gonna be able to make that deadline, but that don't mean that I can't make the deadline for another song next time. You know, so just always have patience and celebrate the small wins. You know?
That's right. That's good. That's good, man. You gave them a lot of the gems. Just they caught that. Yeah. So let's get to the next phase of that, right? So after they find the most efficient way to get the ball rolling and to get to a point where you are, how, because the market is weird right now. You know, streams aren't paying shit.
Yeah.
It's more about touring and merch and stuff like that. But how are you finding success monetizing your art, right? You talked about streams and whatnot, but what else are you doing to monetize your art?
I'll say being willing to invest in it. Like right now, I'm not in the recouping season of my art right now. Right now, I'm in the time where I'm getting ready to bet on myself again. I haven't done a show that I was performing at myself since prior to the pandemic, and that was the Bars concert. So it's like then the pandemic happened and it halted any kind of momentum that I plan on having with that concert series. So I say be ready to be in the season of investment, but do it in a smart way. Just like I said, if doing this may kill your ability to pay your rent, bruh, like there's so much nuance into when successful people say be willing to bet on yourself. Yes, be willing to bet on yourself, but within the confines of good logic. Feel me? So I say when it comes to a show that I'm doing, like we're not just in a weird time when it comes to streams, but we're in a weird time when it comes to digital exposure. I feel like the algorithm, like everybody got these videos of how to tap into the algorithm and how to master it, but that joint just, in my eyes, it changes at will.
Yeah.
Because I've done the thing, like I've experimented when it comes to the algorithm. Just understand that the only way to get around it is direct to consumer. If people like your music, if people are showing interest, do not respond to their comment with a flame emoji. That makes you lose dollars, like immediately. Let them know that you not only appreciate the fact that they taking time out to watch your stuff, but get in contact with them. If somebody like your music, yo, can I get your email so that anytime I'm dropping something, yo, like you will get an occasional. Don't be spamming people email blast so that they can be in contact. If you get their phone numbers, that is even better. I think Ryan Leslie got what, like 1,000 phone numbers, and he was able to eat for the rest of his life from genuine fans. The come up is not a grand gesture kind of thing. It's really tapping into people who have qualities. So if you want to make your money, you have to find a specific people. I say it take like 100 people for like a single to blow up. Because if 100 people like that joint, you gotta multiply that by a number. How do you get those people? You have to do shows. How do you get people to know that you having a show outside of the algorithm? Print out physical flyers, just like I said. Is it going to be tough? Yes, because you got to do it on your own. Who wants to put up a bunch of flyers around the city?
Fact.
But anything that's worth something is not going to come with convenience.
Right.
And I feel like that's a very big problem that we dealing with in the art scene. Everybody's chasing convenience. Everybody has so much access that we don't even chase challenges anymore. It's like, yo, let me put $1,000 into this placement or into this, that, and the third. And finding a genuine placement is a dime a dozen. Whereas though you could take it into your own hands, like, yo, we live in a city that is that's hooked on music, that's hooked on art, that's hooked on eclectic things. Even outside the city, it's 7 billion people in this world. 100 people gotta like you.
Yeah.
You could be the corniest person on earth, bro. Somebody gonna like you.
Yeah.
You know, you just gotta be willing to plant seeds.
Fact.
So I say that's how you reap it. You know, just understanding how to plant seeds and understanding how those seeds work. You know, it's gonna be storms. It's gonna be a drought. It's gonna feel like ain't nobody there but you, because that's how seeds work.
Yeah.
You know?
We're at. All right. One last question before I let you go, bro.
For sure.
What's one piece of advice you would give to an up-and-coming artist right now? Anything.
One piece of advice. I would say one piece of advice that I would give to an up-and-coming artist. I'll say I'll even make it more specific. If I was talking to a young boy that was from Philly, that listened to rap music, that want to be a rapper, I would say, bro, please step outside your comfort zone musically at minimum. If you can do that, like the sky's the limit. Is I don't have no problem with drill or anything like that. The only time it becomes an issue is when that's the only reference point that you could base your life off of, when you could base your art off of, because then you're not able to be authentic. You always gonna sound like a babyface Ray. You always gonna sound like this New York drill rapper, so on and so forth. Be willing to step outside of your comfort zone and listen to things that you never listened to before, because what it's going to give you is the power of perspective, and you may find relatability in areas or genres that you wouldn't be able to find if you just stuck to the same one-dimensional aspect that goes into your ears, you know. So just always be willing to listen to a lot of things. That's the hardest part. Like, I can tell you about how to do a show, about how to do this, that, and the third. All of that is just a symptom of good music. Emphasis on the good. Yeah. It's people out here that cannot make good music, and that's a real problem. Yeah, but if your only problem is things outside of that, and all you got to do to overcome that is make music, bro, you good. Like, you so good. It might take time, but if it's really worth it, then you willing to put that time in.
It's a fact. It's a fact. Nah, that's good, bro. That was good. And like you said, the niggas that can't make music, that's the real problem. That's the pandemic. But yo, Eli Capella, thanks again, bro. Thanks for being here, man.
Yeah.
You got a lot of gems, bro.
Yeah, yo, it's crazy. The last thing I want to say, this is a full circle moment. I don't even think I said this at the first interview. The first interview, I was couch surfing, bro. Like I was basically homeless.
Wow.
Like I came in here with no cut, so on and so forth. And I'm looking at y'all like, y'all think I'm successful? Like what? And that's what I mean. Like you can be feeling a crazy way and going through life in one aspect, but in hindsight, it's like, yo, that boy is winning right there. Yeah. You mean? So yeah, that's the last little gem that everybody should keep in mind.
No, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. But yo, before you let you go, can you tell the people where they can find you and where they can hear you?
Yes, sir. Y'all can find me at ELICAPELLA9 on all DSPs, Eli Capella, ELI space CAPELLA, and most importantly, you can find me out here in these streets because that's where I'm gonna be at. Period. When it comes to the art form, when it comes to the culture, all that. You feel me?
Amen. Let's go, bro. Thank you. Thank you.
No doubt. Thank you.
And that's a wrap.